Bada boom. Okay, let's see here. Just testing the lag, delay, output, whatever it goes. As you all know, I get along so well with YouTube Live. I definitely don't ever have technical issues, right? So it says upcoming, but I'm live. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, okay, it's going. Great. Alrighty, hey there everyone, Coach Mark. I am live. I am running on a delay. I always am. I don't know how these YouTube lives work that well, to be honest. But if you are in the chat, go ahead and just say something, ask questions as we go. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. So today, I'm going to be doing just an extemporaneous discussion on 2 times a week training if you have an inconsistent schedule. So if this is you, I think the best thing you can do is really figure out which day you're consistent. And on that day, you're going to make it your developmental day. So that is your priority day. Normally, a lot of folks, for some reason, when they run conjugate, they seem to think that the max effort day is the most important. I don't agree with that take. I honestly think the lighter developmental day is far more important. And in this case, right, when we think about developmental rotations, if you watch my main channel, I did a video on it just this week. Speed work is great, but it's not the end all be all, and I think there's a case to be made against it. So these are a few different rotations you can run for 4 weeks at a time. There's a density rotation where it's just max sets for 10 minutes of 4, 3, 3, or 2 at 70, 75, 80, or 85%. So week 1 is max 4s at 70%. Week 2 would be max 3s at 75%. Week 3 is max 3s at 80%. And then week 4 would be max doubles at 85% for 10 minutes. You could do a step load such as 5x5, 6x4, 8x3, and 5x2 at the same percentages. Or if you wanted a higher rep step load, I like this one especially for like static pressing, 4x10, 3x8, 4x6, 5x5, and you got this percentages right there. So you'd pick 2 main movements. So in this case, let's say for me, it'd be a push press and a deadlift. I'd probably do density push press and then step load deadlift, right? Those would be my main movements for developmental day, and then whatever accessories I wanted. And then for the max effort or intensive day, you've got a few different options available. A basic one I'd run is week 1 is an 8 rep max. Week 2 is 4 sets of 4 to 6 at the 8 rep max. Week 3 is a 6 rep max. And then week 4 would be 4 sets of 3 to 4 at the 6 rep max, right? So you're getting a lot of familiarity and practice in there. If you wanted a higher intensity wave, week 1 could be a 3 rep max, week 2 a 2 rep max, then week 3 would be 5 singles at the 3 rep max, and then week 4 you hit a 1 rep max. And then let's say you have an absolutely inconsistent schedule. You don't even know what gym you're going to be at on day 2, week in, week out because you travel. What you could do is hit a 4 to 6 rep max on whatever movement and then drop by 20%. So 80% of that max for 2 sets of 10 to 15. Honestly, the no rotation option is one I like a lot. I think it's really fun. So then what that would look like as a practical example is, day 1, push, press, and deadlift could be your mains, for example. And then, 3 to 4 accessories of choice. So like for me, I'd go with a barbell row, then after that, triceps, biceps, and core. And that's what that day 1 would look like. And that's, assuming I'm at my standard gym. And let's say day 2, I am traveling and I'm at a commercial gym. I might do, for my max effort lower, actually, let's first think here. Let's say, commercial gym, it's got barbells and plate loaded machines. Great. So then what I could do here is a no rotation, right? That 4 to 6 RM. And we'll go with strict press, or actually, no, let's make it floor press. Floor press. Then we could do the, let's go with the 8 RM back squat. And then I could pick whatever accessories I want here, some sort of vertical pull, probably some single leg work, and let's go core work, right? Pretty basic operation here. And the idea is you just need to build a library of movements. And then for any of the accessory exercises, what you could do is a 5 rest pause effort. So, it's reps, rest 30 seconds, reps, rest 30 seconds, reps, rest 30 seconds, reps, rest 30 seconds, reps, 5 total efforts, right? And then you accumulate 30 to 40 total reps, go heavier next time. You could do something like a 20 to 12 rep max, whatever you want to do, whatever rep range, and then you do 2 to 3 half sets. So, you hit a 20 rep max and then do 2 to 3 additional sets of 10 at whatever you hit for that top set. If you did the 12 rep max, 2 to 3 sets of 6, for example. 2 RD method. So let's say 2 RD 10, pick a weight, hit a heavy 10, Take that same weight, repeat it. If you can do 12 or more, next time you go heavier. But then regardless of how that second repeated set goes, drop the weight by 20%, go to failure. 8 sets of 8 with a 20 rep max, resting 30 seconds in week 1, and then 25 seconds in week 2, 20 seconds in week 3, 15 seconds in week 4. So it just really depends on what your schedule and rotation is going to look like as far as what's going to work for you. This just gives you some ideas, and it's a very flexible way to train on that 2 times a week. Obviously, for some folks, the idea of 2 max effort in a single day is rough, so you could certainly tune it. I just wanted to give you a very quick, simple operation there for 2 times a week training with an inconsistent schedule. And then you just build rotations, and even if you haven't done a lift in a few weeks, next time you come back to it, try to beat the logbook. That's what Dorian Yates, Dante Trudell said with dog crap training is just beat the logbook when in doubt, right? So that's a very simple way to go about it. Now let's talk about the questions I received. Number 1, a person is reporting they're doing full body training every other week. They are stuck at a 195 for 7 incline. Sight unseen, right? If I don't have a training diary, my first thought is, what does the technique look like? What does the training frequency look like? And if they're stuck there, maybe they just need to spend some time building up their 5 rep max on the incline. Spend some time building the 10 rep max rather than just grinding the same weight week in, week out. Maybe get away from it a little bit. Do some close grip incline with pauses for a time. It's one of those things, it's just simpler to step away from it by 1 or 2 variations, build strength there, and then come back rather than just plugging away at it. Hey there, Saya. Appreciate you being here for the live. Yeah. So that's pretty much how I'd go about it there. Now, the next question I received was the natural stone to shoulder versus sandbag. Are they different? Of course they're different. But honestly, I think a sandbag to shoulder is just a good all-around thing to train for shouldering because the sand shifts, because it's not consistent, because it's not as repeatable, right? Unless you have access to the stone itself, what are you going to do? And that's why I think the natural stone to shoulder just makes... It's a tough event. It's a unique event. I like that more promoters are doing natural stones. So just get some sandbags. And even with Atlas stones, it seems like the sandstone by Cerberus is becoming more common, which I am all for. I love that it's becoming more common. I think the sandstone should be the new standard personally, because what's nice is you don't have to worry about destroying your floor. It's more consistent. It's more repeatable. It's just a nice event. I like it. I am pro sandstone. Last one is the axle deadlift carryover. Now, I'm going to put the caveat, axle deadlift without straps, so true raw. I'm not really a fan of it. I don't see the utility. I think you're just asking for a bicep tear. I know the double overhand axle deadlift is showing up at a lot of shows, which, whatever, that's fine. That's a grip event at that point rather than a true deadlift. So it's not something I'd ever really have people train outside of competition prep. But if we're talking about the axle deadlift with straps from the floor, S tier variation, honestly. If you can pull it under those settings, you can pull it under pretty much any other setting. Honestly, if I weren't worried about my grip, I would only train axle deadlift with straps. I think it's just one of the most honest deadlift variations. It's so good for developing just pure, absolute deadlift prowess. Absolute S tier variation. Love, 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 and love. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Looks like there's a few of you, but I don't have any questions coming in on chat. So I'm going to give it a few seconds to catch up. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and dip out here. Let me see here. Actually, maybe I can do it this way. Questions, or I am going to roll out. There we go. I forgot that I can also just use the chat because, with OBS, there's always a slight delay, anywhere from 10 to 5 to 15 seconds probably. So it does get annoying sometimes. So I just put that message in chat. I'm going to give it a few here because this is part of the reason I always feel awkward doing these lives is I'm literally sitting here waiting for OBS to catch up, hoping someone asks questions. Otherwise, it's just kind of, dead air. But yeah, that's pretty much it then. Looks like I don't have any questions coming in from chat. If you catch this on the replay and you do have questions for future lives, just leave it as a comment, please, and then I will address it as long as it's a good question. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and dip out. Hope you folks have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Take care, everybody.